We have to let Kerry in.
Okay, Kerry, we gotta let you in.
So I told her to, if we're recording,
Yay!
Okay, wait, there's no volume.
We can't hear you.
No. Oh, no, there you are.
There we go.
We should just take a moment to like acknowledge
what happened.
this just happened.
We made it.
We weren't staring at the screen going, how do we do this?
And I'm not going like this.
No.
I don't know how it's going.
Look at you seamlessly in your beauty. Is this your office behind you?
One would like to think that is the case.
Is this an AI office?
It is. It's an AI.
You see my hands and it's working. What? Yes, this is my office then.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so, you know what? I want to do a pile of puppies behind mine for next time. We should just take a previous recording and have them playing. They won't pay attention to us though if we do that.
Exactly.
So, I don't usually use this microphone, but I tried it.
It sounds great.
No, you sound
good.
And you
Good.
look
It's
beautiful.
all good.
Allie, Kerry. Hi, Kerry. It's so nice to
Nice to meet you.
Officially. And I think we're on time, which is
now.
I mean,
it's 9:31.
We already had a successful podcast.
I know. What are we doing?
Call this?
Our focast.
Our focast. It's been successful already. Kerry, you brought the magic.
Okay, let's make sure I get our little thing up and going. Not Q&A.
Do you want to do your little spiel about like the questions in the chat?
Yes. Okay. So here's the thing. The questions usually are going to be in the chat. Show chat. Yes.
Okay.
Oh Jesus, take the wheel. What did I just do? Okay, here we go.
You raised your hand.
All right. I raised my hand. This is again. Okay. So technically not the best. I'm going to go lower hand. There we go. So what I wanted to let you know is that we're going to be going through a list of questions and we have some general overview things, some things we want to say. We love to take questions and answers in the chat box. If I don't get to your question right away, it's not that I didn't see it. I've got it up. It's just that we're going to see what we've got already, what we have time for.
We're freewheeling over here.
Yeah,
just have a good time.
I'm so impressed. You guys are doing it.
Well,
so that's
we're
us.
only 30 seconds in, Kerry, so let's not get overly impressed.
Save it. Yeah. So
Okay.
we'll be getting you through that. Okay. Go ahead.
Well, and I should say, Allie has been doing this with me. So for anybody who has not been on with us before, Kerry, I don't know if you've seen previous recordings that Allie and I have attempted. We're getting better. Like to even have printed out questions, it's just better.
With your logo.
With my logo.
And our name with a heart.
And I put a heart on my name because it's self-love.
Yes, self-love.
Right? Okay.
Not just me.
Not just you. Yes. So Allie graciously started joining me as a co-host. Gosh, it's been like a year and a half.
When we started with the Puppy Brain book, and we did a book club on Puppy Brain.
And we literally had the puppies, like we were in the whelping box or the puppies behind us.
Yes,
and
who was that? Was it?
It was Poppins.
Poppins and her poop breath. She'd come breathe her poop breath
She
on
breathed
us.
her poop breath.
Oh my Lord.
Oh, it was not special.
It was like, whew, the poop fan.
Yeah.
Okay, we're getting off track here again.
So Allie joined me and moderated questions, and we just had so much fun. And we started talking about what would be a next level for Nicholberry. At that time, we were just calling it Puppy Brain Book Club.
Yeah.
And we decided to rebrand as Nicholberry Conversations and to have people that we would just want to talk to, just have conversations with people that would be interesting. And so you're at the top of that list, Kerry, and I'm so glad that you're here.
Yes.
And we'll get into how we know each other and everything. But Allie, I thought maybe you could just for a second say who you are, what you do for anybody who doesn't know.
Okay.
Who Allie is outside of that.
Outside of that square and being your friend and pal, your old pal Al.
Yeah, my old pal.
Okay, so I was trained about 20 years ago through Martha Beck's Wayfair coaching program as a life coach. And so Martha Beck.
How many people were in your session with Martha?
I think there was only 10 people. It was way back in some of the ground floor of when her training life coaches. And I remember seeing her on Oprah and reading her in the Oprah magazine. And it was one of those things I just reached out and said, hey, I'd like to come to one of your trainings, and thinking that she would never respond to me. I ended up getting in, and it was amazing, life-changing. So I get to do life coaching with a variety of different people and different ages. And then 5 years ago, I went through a Clifton Strengths training. So I'm a certified Clifton Strengths educator, consultant, and I do a lot of corporate work and individual work with organizations on helping them be their best self and being the most productive way they can be. I love getting to work with teams. I travel now that my kids are all older.
Yes.
And so I I absolutely love the work I get to do with individuals and organizations to help them be their very best.
And you're rather amazing. You're rather
Thank you.
amazing at
And I
it.
love it.
So
It's my favorite.
I love that path. Wow.
It's been great.
yeah.
So
then, Kerry, will you go ahead and just tell us, give a little intro on who you are?
I'm happy to. So I'm a gerontologist, meaning I study aging. So for the past 30 years, I've had the absolute privilege to journey with thousands of adults and their families as they age. And so I taught for 19 years at the university in geriatric medicine. And I really got into the toughest of situations. And that is, I was the director of an elder abuse forensic center. And I studied a lot of how people end up in heartbreaking, tragic, suffering old age. And I did that work when it was a great honor, but I realized, wow, there's so much that we can do to fortify people so they don't end up in these situations. And so it sort of was like I was like at the bottom of a skateboard ramp, and I would put the band-aids on people after they, ate it off the ramp. And then one day I realized, like, girl, you got to get up to the top of that ramp and prevent people from going down to begin with. And so that's been sort of the second part of my career, which is the opposite of what, not suffering, but in fact, thriving. And what we can do starting at any age to put ourselves on a path to thrive in longevity.
Oh my gosh.
That's
I love
incredible.
that. It's so interesting. Kerry and I have a lot of overlap. We found out did we discover it when you came to the puppy visit that we went to?
I think so. So not only do we have the same beautiful name from,
I
from
know.
the 60s, everyone, but also I was just so grateful to get to know you, Kerry, and then you changed our lives with our family member we named Billie Eyelash, who is the coolest, most beautiful Nicholberry Golden in the entire world, I must say.
In the whole world.
Where is she from?
She's from Kitty's.
Kitty.
She's Kitty's litter. I mean, I can't help it, you guys. Like I name a lot of dogs, and to me it was so funny, the idea of being able to say Kitty's litter, Kitti. And she was such a special little puppy. And then when you came for the puppy visit, I think we started talking about, wait, you went to UCLA? I went to UCLA. Wait, what year did you graduate? And so we've had this parallel track, which is so interesting. Even as you say what you said about, like, I love the skateboard ramp analogy. When I was in law school, I took an elder abuse class.
Wow.
And it was one of, like, I think it was early on when Loyola, at UCLA, I took a class on that landmark HIV class. Did you take that class?
I didn't take it. I couldn't get in, but
the news cameras were there. I got into that class.
Oh.
I couldn't believe it. And it was like unreal, because this is when HIV first broke and nobody really knew what it was. And so you did this class. And so anyhow, I got also into this the class was just on elders, and a big part of it was about a growing problem of elder abuse. And I first heard about it back when you first started doing what you're doing. So it's just so funny that this is the way. Yeah.
Yes, we were living in tandem and meant to get to this moment.
Yes. And then how did the book come to be?
And that's another parallel, is that we both got to write a book. It's such a lifelong dream. Every time I go to a library or a bookstore, I see each book as a person sitting on that shelf and waiting to share what they're interested in. And I would go and spend ridiculous amount of time and money at Barnes and Noble and think, someday I will get to share all that I've kind of gathered from 30 years as a gerontologist. And so I really feel that in putting it out, every step along the way, it just kept unfolding. And so I met someone, a guy friend, And I told him someday I'd love to write a book. And he's like, oh, actually, that's what my wife does. She's a literary agent, but she only picks a few people. So I reached out to her, and she has become a dear friend, and she's my literary agent in Minnesota. And then she shopped the book, and just each step as we've gone has been like it was meant to get the word out about making older better. So it has been really fun. And the book comes out in August, but so far it's already been a real dream.
Wow.
You know it because you've done it, Kerry.
Well, and you guys, you know what's coming next.
Oh yeah.
It's a wild ride.
Oh yeah.
You know, buckle up.
Carrie and I went for a walk. I don't know, maybe however long, a month ago, a walk. So we talked on the phone. I mentioned it on Instagram, you guys. So this is who I was walking with. She was, we were theoretically walking our dogs together, and just talking about, what's coming next. And I'm on the other side of it. And so she's
prepping her.
I just realized I blew past, your little plan here.
My plan? I don't have a plan. Well, I'm here.
Well, I like lightning round. It's
you like
fun.
lightning round?
I do.
Okay, because then it helps other people get to know you. Okay, let's just do maybe 2 questions.
Okay.
So that way we can keep on with all the super interesting facts between the two of us. But I also think it's interesting facts to know about y'all, and people don't know you, and it's fun. Okay, so I'm going to say my question would be, if you could have a long dinner with anyone, who would it be?
Oh, Kerry goes first.
Oh, that's
right. Okay.
Yes.
You know that I am a nerd. And
us too.
So it would be with Atul Gawande, and he wrote the book Being Mortal.
Oh.
And he's a physician and a humanist and a brilliant human, and the adult son of his parents, and he walks you through that path with him. And I think he is so neat. And so I would love, and I had almost a little moment like that because I was on an advisory board and it was on Zoom, and I didn't know who the other advisors were. And then they said, at one point, the CEO said, what do you think, Atul, who had his camera off? And when he came on, I was like, and I said out loud accidentally, oh. So then everybody knew. And then he was nice enough to send us a signed copy of his book. So anyway, okay, so that's a nerdy one. How about you, Kerry?
I have that book sitting on my desk.
You do?
I do.
You're done?
Yeah, it's in my to be read pile, but I have one more book to get to, and then that is the one.
I know.
Someone on Substack recommended it to me.
Really?
So, yes.
Okay, I'll take it after you.
Person, thank you. Yes. Okay, this is kind of like funny, but it's just okay. I just feel like I, in some ways, was raised by Oprah. Like, I really do feel like she raised up like some of the best parts of who I became. And oh my gosh.
Are you gonna get emotional?
No, I'm not gonna get emotional.
You can, you're allowed,
I'm allowed to.
You can feel
loud tears here. Yes. I would love to sit down with her and just have a conversation, not about anything in particular, just to get to be like one-on-one, and to thank her also for her just an outsized impact on my life. So
yeah. I love that one. And she got me all through middle of the night nursing.
Oh gosh.
We have 3 kids 25 years ago. And in the middle of the night, I would put on the recording of each Oprah. And I remember like it was time to go back to bed, but I was being so inspired that I would watch it a little bit longer. And then I had a full circle moment yesterday because I got asked to write an Oprah Daily article. And so same thing, I was getting a little, I did it, and I was getting a little choked up because I was thinking, is this real? So it hasn't come out yet or anything, but I'm hopeful, and I'll certainly let you know.
Well, you'll let me know, and then I'll.
You know it.
That's really exciting, and we will all love that article.
That
It'll be
so
great.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. I'm going to ask one more question, then we're going to get to getting. Let's see here. I'm going to go, since that was a pretty like deeper one. Let's go with what's a guilty pleasure TV show that you secretly love?
Oh gosh.
This time, Carrie Nichols.
Oh, sucker!
Oh my gosh. Do I say the really embarrassing one?
Yeah, this is getting real. This is getting ugly. Bring it.
And also, like, you hear the music from this all the time. I don't know, like, y'all don't maybe even know how much you hear the music from this.
You've got me started on
all
it
the time in my house. And I use it on puppy videos all the time. I love Bridgerton. I love Bridgerton. That's it. It's my treadmill show. I'm like,
it's getting you through the treadmill.
I could walk for
and
days.
your weighted vest.
I could, and my weighted vest.
Yes, I don't have it yet, but I want it.
Oh yeah. You gotta get one.
Yeah, guess who started?
In my neighborhood has it on, and I'm the only unweighted girl out there.
Yeah, Dr. Mary Claire.
Dr. Mary Claire.
Okay,
That's
yours.
right.
Okay, what's yours?
Okay, so I don't even feel that guilty about it, but I like it so much. Is Love on the Spectrum.
Oh, I love that show. I
So
love it.
beautiful, so kind, so like, oh, I love them so much. And so now I follow all the people, all the young people on it on their Instagrams.
Me too.
It's been a joy as well. Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, it is the absolute best. My kids and I are so obsessed with that show. We watch, we'll follow, we'll send each other the TikToks and reels of everybody. We love James. Love James.
Yes, and Tanner.
And Tanner.
Joy. I know it.
Hey, did you see when Tanner met Jack
Okay,
Black?
hold on. Wait, that was a speed round lightning question.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, back on track. Sorry. Did you see that though? And then we'll get back on track. I died. I watched it over and over. Oh my gosh. Okay, now we're on track. Now we're on track.
Now,
with
what
the
am I going
real
to do with you?
story.
We're hurting
I know.
cats over here.
Jeez. Okay, I'm back on to regular.
Okay, here we go.
Regular question number. Well, we already did number one, but number two question is: can you tell us about your book, Joyspan, and really what inspired the title?
Oh yeah, I love the title.
Sure. Okay, so all the time we talk about lifespan, how long we're going to live. We talk about longevity. We're longevity. We're going to live to 100, all about it, lifespan. It's great, right? And then the next iteration of it was health span. And so a book I really like is Peter Attia's book, Outlive, which is essentially, I think, should be called Health Span, because it's all about how to live as healthy as possible, as long as possible. Love it. So lifespan, just how long you live. Health span, how long you live a healthy life. But when you're a gerontologist and you have a lot of patients who live a long life, and in fact even are in good physical health, you recognize that something is missing. So living a long life, even a long, healthy life, doesn't mean much if you don't love your life. So what I was looking for is what can we talk about in terms of quality of life? And so at first I was thinking, well, it's how long you're well. So if with my patients, I was calling it well span, but I had a patient who is 87, a beautiful man, and he said, you mean wealth span? How long my money holds out? I said, no, that is also a really good topic, but I wasn't saying wealth span. So then I thought, let me try joy span. And when I looked up what is joy, joy is not ecstasy. Joy is more akin to contentment. So unlike happiness, which is often situationally dependent, joy can be constant, even in the really hard times, which is perfect because aging isn't easy and none of us make it out unscathed or, in fact, alive. So joy span is the quality of your long life, your well-being, and it starts from the moment we were born, we started aging, all the way up till we take our last breath. And it's never too early to work on your joy span.
Gosh, that's so good.
Yeah.
Did you, I'm curious because I've heard you talk about, obviously anyone who follows you knows Momo, your mom.
Yes.
Amazing.
She's the cutest in the world. Really, oh my gosh.
And what a good sport she is too. But when did it start to percolate this concept? And when did you start to, identify, like you talk about pillars and we're going to get to that, but when did that start to bubble up in your mind that like, oh, the skateboard ramp, like how, tell us a little bit about that.
So, as I was studying gerontology, I would learn things. And every single time I would pick up the phone, and I'm trying to think if it was even a rotary phone or at least a push button phone with a curly thing, not cell phone. And I would call my mom and dad and I would say, Mom and Dad, did you know? And then I would give them something and then encourage them to start implementing this thing. And so this is, 30 years worth of information. And a lot of it wasn't just the physical things. It was, for example, I would read a study that talked about what, for example, friendship and connection did in terms of improving your cognition and your physical health and your purpose and your happiness. And I would think, oh my gosh, you guys, you got to really focus on your friendships. Are you focusing on your friendships? And so I kept doing this all these years. And as I watched my mom thrive, it was kind of like, this really works. And look at, I realized my mom is this human guinea pig of not just what I say, but what I took from the literature and watched her implement. And in the beginning, it's so funny to look back on early social media because I thought, well, I want to share this information and I didn't have a phone stand. So I would go to my mom's house and I would ask her, hey, Mom, could you hold my phone and then record me saying something to people? So I would say, did you know that your hearing, for example, you lose the high register so that you can hear people who speak in a low register, but not people who speak in a high register? And so I thought that was an interesting fact that I would share with people. And so my mom, with her great, shaking hands, would film me. And I was doing this for a while. And then one day it was like, duh, I should hold the camera and record my mom who, is has experienced these things. This is far more interesting. So I turned the camera on her. And the first question I asked her was, what is it like to be a widow? And of course, people listened and were, because she's actually lived it. And so from that point on, I really kept the camera focused on her. And she is now 96. And we've touched on so many topics, and we are having such a ball with it. And I would really recommend it for anyone. Like if you have a camera and if you have a loved one, I would turn the camera on them and ask them questions. And whether you post it or not isn't really the point, but it is such fun and so great to have those memories captured.
That's awesome.
That's a great idea.
What a good idea.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Also, by the way, I had gotten a text saying that the webinar chat was not open to everybody, and it now is. So if you haven't, if you were trying, you can get in through there, or question and answer.
I do. I just have a question on that. Like, I feel like, I guess I could ask my parents. I feel funny about it. I don't even know why I feel funny about it. Like, I'm curious if you've heard that. This is interesting because, so much of your content is about like what we can do from this point forward, right? To age. Oh, I love the way you say it.
Age brilliantly.
Yes,
Age brilliantly.
Okay,
that's so good.
And then also, though, us engaging with our aging parents, and so like, do you find that people are open to being videoed like that? The older.
No. So,
okay.
I'm so glad, Kerry, that you brought it up because when I first was going to videotape my mug, I had concern. And when I first asked my mom if I could videotape her, she said no, because we as humans, and particularly as women, have been fed a multi-billion-dollar lie that somehow it's not right that we look older. And so we have internalized this and saying, well, I don't think I can be on camera. And we don't even know that we have internalized this because it's ever since we were born. We read our kids' stories like Hansel and Gretel got grabbed by an old lady with warts on her nose. He decided she was going to eat them. Like that's what we were taught.
True.
So we think it is bad to get older, and it's so lucrative. It's such a great industry that is all fear-based. And if you think I can't go on screen because of my chins, or
Neck.
yeah,
Yeah.
because of my neck, I a lot of times, and so yeah, so both my mom and I had to think, wait a second, wait, you like what if who cares? And plus at the time I think I had 3 followers. So and they were all my friends. Like who cares? Whatever. I'm just going to put it up there and let's just do it. And so maybe when you feel like you don't want to record yourself, or when your parents or grandparents or siblings or next door neighbor don't want to be videotaped, you can say, I understand that. We all feel super weird about it. But what if we just tried it and we just like do a little shorty and then let's look at it together. And it was in looking at it together that my mom giggled and said, I guess that's okay. I guess, if I can make people laugh, I don't care. And so and then we just got more and more comfortable with it once we started doing it.
Love
That
this.
is
That's
so
so good.
amazing.
Yes.
That's really good
Thank you.
information.
Yeah.
Okay, well, one of the things we also wanted to ask more and have you explain more about is the concept that you bring up and the way you've structured Joyspan around the 4 pillars, and we'd love it if you tell us about those.
Sure. Okay. So I want to start with anchoring this in our physical selves, right? Because in order to enjoy a long longevity, we need to be around for it. So, of course, our bodies matter. So, although mine is internal strength, I'm going to start with a little bit external, and then you can see how it's actually the same thing because first it's your outside body and then your inside body. So, when we talk about longevity and you talk about fitness, so physical fitness, you can think of 4 categories of it. And it's been an acronym FACE has been used. And I didn't create it. It was really thinking about the F being flexibility. We really got to make sure because the reason that people walk differently when they're old is just because things are tightening up. So if you aren't doing flexibility training every day, you are on the path to be walking like that. So you don't have to go to yoga if you just at home saying, whenever I brush my teeth, I'm going to stretch a little, or before I get into bed, or before I get out of bed, when I watch my wonderful Bridgerton or Love on the Spectrum, I'm going to do a little bit of flexibility training. Okay, so then that's the F. The A is aerobic. So we need to get so that we are doing a little something that makes us huff and puff. So your weighted vests are fantastic, or it can be jumping on a stationary bike or walking up a steep hill fast or something that gets you a little like, and people go, how do I know if it's enough? Well, if you feel a little bit sweaty, then that's a good sign. We have this natural body telling us. So that's the aerobic, FA. The C, she used carry heavy things. So that's weightlifting. So something that is weight bearing, and we can use our body weights. We can be doing squats. We can be lifting things up at the gym or at home. But we all know we have got to be strong. Muscles matter, nothing with looks, everything with the ability to get up off the toilet, to pick something up, to be able to squeegee the shower. I was doing that today and I was like making myself do squats as I went down and did it. Try not to get a mental picture of this. I was wearing a wetsuit. No. And then the last one is equilibrium. And so equilibrium is thinking about balance. So we really want to make sure that you're thinking, okay, am I, for example, when I brush my teeth, lifting up one foot and going, woo, and then switching it to the other side, or I sometimes do it when I'm blow drying, which is really super hard. And then when you really want to challenge yourself, shut your eyes while you're balancing.
Yes.
Yes, that's so
Man, I fall over quickly, but then I know that that is something I really need to work on. Okay, so we're talking about, we kind of know that. You get sort of a lot about that from a lot of sources. But equally as important is the internal fortification, right? We're going to go into this time of our lives where there's beautiful things and challenging things. As women, we're very likely to outlive our husbands. So losing your husband, that's no, or your partner, that's not a small thing. Or getting a diagnosis, or getting an adult child's diagnosis, or a grandchild's diagnosis, or I mean, there's a lot of changes coming our way. It's not all bad stuff, but it is challenging. And therefore, in the same way that we strengthen our physical body, let's strengthen like who we are so that we can thrive in longevity regardless of circumstances. So in the same way that there are 4 pillars of physical fitness, there are 4 pillars of Joyspan or emotional fitness that we need to be working on every day. And we need to start as young as we can. And it is never too late to start. So if you are currently 90, you did not miss the boat. If you are currently 17, way to go. You're going to have a long time with it. So those 4 in the book, I called them 4 things, which is great. And all the research is about those. Subsequently, I wanted people to be able to remember it because sometimes I found that is a little bit hard, the stickiness factor. So I have since named those 4 things something that spells out core, CORE, not that ab thing, but the core of ourselves, our inner core, our tapping into our joy. So the C in core is to connect. Incredible literature. In fact, from the Harvard 85-year longitudinal study of aging, the biggest predictor of thriving in longevity was connection. The quality of our social connections matters so much. If it was a pill, we would all be clamoring for it. It would be the next Ozempic, and everybody would be going crazy for the connection shot. And it matters that you diversify your social portfolio. And here's what I mean by that. With our money, we don't put all our money in the same place. We diversify our financial portfolio. With friendships, we need to do the same thing. Because when you live to 100, you will likely outlive your friends. So my mom at 96 has outlived, I would say, probably 99% of her friends. Had she not started to invest in new friendships, friendships with younger people, friendships with different people, she would feel alone and she would be sort of alone. So right now, think about the fact, okay, let's take inventory. And in the book, think about it kind of concentric circles. And you think, who is my closest person? Who is the next 5 in my ring out? And you're thinking about, who do I have? And sometimes if we're honest, we go, I sort of have let this slide. I've been so into my job, my puppies, my, all these different things that I forgot to really pour into my social portfolio. So once you kind of go, okay, I could use a couple more girlfriends, or I could use some younger friends or some older friends, then what you do is you need to be that friend. And that friend is the one who reaches out, the one who makes the plan, plans the girls' weekend, is the one to remember, oh gosh, this is the day that your father passed away 5 years ago. I'm going to reach out to you. So anybody who goes, well, gosh, I don't have that many friends. I'm kind of lonely. This is kind of a bummer time of life. It's because when the friend that we're waiting for needs to be us. And the only way to have friends and longevity is to be the outreacher one. So if nobody's reaching out to you, you're normal. You are going to reach out. So that's the C for connect. And I don't know if we want to go through the other pillars now, or if we have any more conversation about connecting.
Well, I think that, I mean, it's so good and valuable, the idea of diversifying. I've never thought about it like that.
Right.
And I feel energized right now. Like Allie and I have been talking about, in our community here, like how can we create some connection with some other women who are in a similar, that we don't know yet.
Right, that we don't know yet. Trying to create maybe even a cohort or
that are in a similar, like moving in their lives, second acts, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
We're in second acts. And so that's a new space.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're not the only ones.
No.
And so like, it's just, I've never thought about it though as diversification, because it is a whole new space for both of us.
Right.
And I love that.
That's amazing.
And also it in life, maybe you've traveled with people and then maybe you've grown apart in some ways. And I think like with, for example, this political polarization, it has had impacts on people and on friendships.
Yeah.
And people have asked me like, do I just hold on to these? Like we've been friends since we were children and it's not really enriching me right now.
Mhm.
And so I think it's good to kind of be honest in your mind to say, like, you can love people and you can still be friends and maintain a friendship. But if they're not really super feeding you where you are now and where you're going, then add to your portfolio and think, wow, I could use people who XYZ and then go after them. And we can get a little creative. We can go, I remember this, like what my mom did. She's 96 years old and all her friends had passed away. And so we needed to get creative. And she said, well, I do remember, I think there's this one gal in this town, not in her town, but in the town over, that I heard about, and I think she's a friend of so-and-so. And so I said, what if you reached out to so-and-so and said, hey, why don't you invite that friend to lunch? And she kind of like proactively, I guess that's the word, proactively seek out who it is that would fill you up and then pursue those friendships. And now those friends are just dear friends, even though they really didn't know each other, even like maybe a year or two ago. So this is in the 90s, like kind of falling in love with friends that you didn't have before.
Well, I mean, we've even experienced that in the writers group that we have. We have a writers group, and man, I feel so lucky that I got included in this group of women that we've only really, really connected with, I think, strongly in the last year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, you longer, but for me, and it's like they're core people in my life now, which is,
That's what we keep saying. How did that happen so fast?
Yeah. And I'm not that I don't have all my other friends that I love, but I mean, I love that that's part of it, and that's great encouragement for everyone.
And it never ends. Like it just never ends that we keep those friends that we had and also keep adding, keep thinking through and keep, kind of tending our garden, and the friendships are the garden.
It's Girl Scouts.
It's girl.
Make new friends, but keep the old one.
One is silver and the other is gold. I'm the Girl Scout.
I love
On my
it.
honor, I will try to serve God and my
Well,
country.
and I'll say one other thing about that. I'm not the kind of person, like, I'm not the reacher outer. I mean, it's not natural to me.
Care.
You're gonna have to work on it.
I mean, it's just not like, and I have really spent publishing a book. Boy, does it change you. And it really, I mean, I feel like if you let it pokes at some places that you didn't know you had covered up. And for me, like, this has shown me so much about me and places that I wanted to grow and things that I wanted to change in me. And one of them has been just in being in friendships. And I am so delighted by the response. Like, I thought, people have their friendship groups. This was my lie I was telling myself. People have their friendship groups. They don't want new friends. I've missed my chance to have these really deep, rich friends because they're all already, no, that's a lie. That's a big lie.
I think that's,
and we all tell ourselves that.
Yes.
Like I say that same lie to myself. What a great point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's almost like in high school. It's that high school mentality that's left over because you get into high school and you're looking, okay, there's this group and there's this group and there's this group, and which group can I fit into? And if I fit into this group, I won't be in this group. And I think it starts to really be separate when we're just people. I love this.
Yeah.
And one of the things I want to do is make sure that we stay on track because we only have 20 minutes left. Can you believe
Okay.
we've been 40 minutes in? I feel like we could talk to you for hours.
For sure could.
Well, I feel like I'm having Carrie's already my friend, and now I feel like two friends. So
Your circle grew. Carrie, your circle just grew. Our circle
my circle just grew. All right, let me write it down.
I know. Carrie, I'm gonna friend you on some places, and we're gonna have to have a dog walk and talk.
I would absolutely love it. I would love that. And sometimes I have three dogs because I have two English cream golden retrievers and my daughter has one. So sometimes I'm walking three beautiful dogs at the same time.
Man,
So,
yeah. Okay, so here's what I'm wondering. Number one, I've been made aware that the webinar chat is still not working. So if you have a question you want to drop in, make sure you do it in Q&A because that is working.
Okay.
The other thing is let's talk about, let's make sure that we want to make sure that we get your message across, Kerry. And we also want to talk maybe about aging because a lot of us have aging parents and we maybe want to get to some of that as well.
perfect.
If you want to highlight your other three pillars, and then maybe we can kind of get into some of that. Would that work?
Love it. I love it. So I'm going to I kind of took a lot on connect.
It was
Love
good. It was.
And now we have ORE. And so we're just going to a little speed around those.
Okay.
C is for connect. O is for open. So we need to open ourselves. And another word from that is to be adaptable. Because the one thing that you will experience in your long life is change. And people who thrive in longevity are adaptable. So you had a job, you didn't have a job, you had a friend, she got sick, your husband passed away. I mean, there's going to be a lot of change. And if we can make ourselves open to say, okay, this change is different for me, I'm going to find a way forward. Maybe my eyesight is such that I can't drive anymore. How can I think of solutions like Instacart and different ways to do different things? That is how you thrive. It is by closing up and being restricted of like lamenting what was that you will have suffering and longevity.
Wow.
So open up, open, and adapt. Okay. Then the R, okay, the R is reach. So the reaching means continued growth. People who thrive in longevity are people who are continuing to grow, who are deciding, I'm going to sign up for that guitar class. I'm going to start a podcast with my dear friend. All these things that we're doing that put you out of your comfort zone. You know, you hear the thing about doing hard things. Reach. Continued growth makes all the difference. And when you tell yourself the lie that, I'm 77, that ship has sailed. No, you can grow, you can do it, and that's going to make all the difference. Okay. And the last is extend. So extending is, you can think of as extending yourself toward others, and it's about giving. So when you give of yourself, that touches a part of us that is critical to human existence, which is our purpose. There are research showing that epigenetics of purpose are so powerful that genes are expressed or not expressed as a result of if you feel like you have purpose in your life. It was staggering research out of UCLA, our alma mater, showing that it was a powerful predictor of whether a gene would be expressed. So you can think of genes like a piano keyboard. Just because you have a gene for breast cancer, for many different things, it's whether that is expressed, like you press down on that piano key. Having a sense of purpose in life as a result of finding something that you have to give impacts gene expression, inflammation, antiviral response at a human level. And so purpose doesn't need to be a huge thing. It can be like, hey, I have lemons in my backyard. I'm going to take a bag of them over to my next door neighbor. Take a little bit of time in talking to my neighbor. That is purpose. Purpose is small, but it's daily thinking about what we have to give. So you've made it through core. You connect, you open up, you reach, and you extend.
I love that.
This is incredible.
Yeah. I cannot wait to read this book.
I know. I can't wait either. I'm like, oh, when is it coming?
August 5th.
Okay.
Yes.
August 5th. Awesome. I can't wait. All right, so let's maybe get into some of the thoughts on aging and aging parents. I feel like that is really,
A
I
lot of
think
us
we're
are
all
feeling it.
really feeling that. Yeah, we've had some questions and some different people have wondered some things about that. And even if you could give some insight onto that, should we talk about some specific things
Well, I
or?
love, like, just having a way to think about ourselves, like what this, it can feel so chaotic. And when I heard your club sandwich analogy, I'm like, that's it. It
Yeah.
helped me to just even frame it like that. So will you speak to that?
Yeah, so we've talked about the sandwich generation, and the sandwich generation is where many of us are now. So we're aging. I'm 55. Our parents are aging if we're lucky enough to still have them. And even our children are aging. So, I had a eye opener when our middle daughter was diagnosed with a brain tumor. And it just really, really threw me because I thought, my mom, yes, or me, yes, but my daughter. And it was a time where my mom was having something, I was having something, my daughter was having something, and you want to feel like, oh, this isn't right. But ironically, it is right. It is what a new era of longevity with these long lives is, that there are multiple layers, and that it is a sandwich generation, and it doesn't have to be framed as really such a bad thing. It is the cost of being alive. And when you're alive, you have stuff. And so when people are working with their older parents or grandparents or even siblings, a mindset shift that I would love to share because it made a big difference for me is with our teenagers have a developmental imperative that they need to pull away from us. And we understand that, right? Like, oh, I got this, mom. Stop, back off, give me my privacy. That's right. That's a developmental imperative. Older adults have a developmental imperative that is two prong. One is for legacy, like, how will I be remembered at my time here on earth? And then the other is autonomy. How can I, as an adult, continue to live my life the way I want to live it? So we don't know it because we're not there yet. But if you're in your 80s, 90s, and 100s, you have this pull. And yet, the mistake that people with older parents are making all day, every day, and I know because I have so made this mistake and continue to make this mistake, is that we think that the most important thing is safety. So we think, oh gosh, I really need to make sure my mom and dad are safe, 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 safe. But sometimes, too often, it comes up against this autonomy versus safety, right? Where people are thinking, I want to do my life the way I want to do it. And the adult child is saying, I think I know best. I just want you to be safe. My judgment is so good here at 55 that you need to listen to me.
Ah,
The way that this manifests is
I
I get a
can't.
call, like every single day, I get a call on the phone and they go, hey, Kerry, I want to tell you about my mom. She is so stubborn. And for me, stubborn is a flag that the adult daughter isn't really understanding where the older mother or father is coming from because you haven't been there yet. And so, particularly when people are cognitively intact, right? In the absence of dementia or significant dementia, a lot of times we're going to disagree with our older parent. And we need to reject the erroneous belief that we know better. So it really takes some humility as the adult child to say, Mom, I'm going to listen to you. Help me understand this. And an example I'll give is when my mom was in the hospital for a long time. She was really, really sick. And so when she came home, she has stairs. And I thought, oh, I'm going to be such a good daughter. I'm going to get a hospital bed and I'm going to put it downstairs so that she doesn't have to go up those stairs. Like, what a great daughter I am. My huge mistake was I didn't ask my mom first. And she got home and all she wanted was her lovely house. And all she saw was this really awful looking hospital bed in her beautiful living room. And it really, she came home and then she sent it away. And then when I saw that she sent it away, I came in too hot and said, Mom, blah, blah, blah. And, I was in the wrong. I was in the wrong because it's her life and her house. And she was like, I will crawl up my stairs. I'm going to be in my beautiful upstairs room. And you overstepped. And so many times when I'm starting to overstep, my mom goes, this feels a little bit like the hospital bed situation, doesn't it, Carrie? And I go, yes, it does. And I'm sorry. And I'm going to back off.
Gosh. I mean, we could just stop right there. That's just gold. I've done this. I have done this, or I've thought it.
Yes.
So thank you. That is such a good perspective, the autonomy piece. What if, because someone did ask me a question to pose to you, if there is some dementia,
Yes, I
not
love this
full
question.
on, it's a little bit.
Okay, I love it because dementia is not a normal part of aging. But when we live a long life, it becomes increasingly more common. So, common, not normal. Dementia is also very much, as you all know, not a black and white thing, right? And so, some people are quick to say if their mom or dad is showing a little bit of sign, well, then they take it as, well, then you can't make any decisions. Then I step in, then my way or the highway. So, if you have a parent who is living with some form of cognitive impairment, and we know dementia is a real big umbrella, and under that umbrella, Alzheimer's disease is the most common, but there's also dementia as a result of polypharmacy by taking different medications, dementia as a result of vascular reasons, frontotemporal dementia. There's a lot of different causes of dementia, and some are even reversible. For example, that medication one. If you've noticed some changes, you still want to err on the side of how can I maximize my older loved one's autonomy? How can I continue to listen? How can we, because actually it's even more important than ever to give the person this sense that they are in control of their lives, they are making decisions, because it's scary when you start to notice some changes. So start with they are right. And sometimes the visual that I have to give to myself when I'm feeling particularly pushy is a dog analogy, a Nickelberry analogy. And that is, I sometimes in my mind, I tell myself to like lie on my back in my mind and kind of show my stomach, like, okay, I'm going to let you talk. Shut up, myself. Listen, 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 listen. I'm on my back. And that for me, that kind of helps because we need to start with listening rather than coming in with our opinion that we know better and not throw people out if they have some cognitive impairment. Because I have a lot of patients with some cognitive impairment who do beautifully and make their own decisions, even decisions that I wouldn't make.
Hmm.
So good.
It's so good. Well, when we talk about agency all the time, and this
Yeah,
is one of your
right.
biggest points is agency.
It is. It is. That's such a good point. It is. It's agency in humans.
Agency.
Agency. I love to have that word
Yeah.
because I don't ever really use it much. And it really is agency. And it is the fact that I always start with the end in mind, which is I have a slide that I show when I give an in-person talk, and it's just a big circle. And I said, I'd like to start with a pie chart, a mortality pie chart. And all it is just the whole entire circle filled in. Like 100%, every single one of us is going to die, and our parents are going to die, and there's nothing. It's good and it's natural. In the same way that you were born, and it can be a little bit messy when you're born, we're all going to die, and your parents are going to die, and that's an okay thing. But until that time, how can we enable our parents to live? And that is why sometimes our rush to bubble wrap people or to send them to a place where they'll be safe or to say, too bad, I'm taking away the keys because you don't know. Like, we need to really step back and say, let's talk these things through and let's think about how to maximize the quality of our parents' lives in the same way that we want to maximize the quality of our lives. Sometimes when my adult children pull my cell phone out of my hand and like they're going to do it for me, like,
Oh yeah.
oh,
Oh
here,
yeah.
mom, let me blah, blah, blah. I get a sense of what it's going to feel like when I am 90. And people then say, no, no, like, do things for me that I can do for myself, it doesn't feel very good.
Mm-hmm.
And if we start to recognize that, we maybe change how we deal with our older parents.
Mm, right. And sometimes I think someone had commented about having, they want more privacy and not, and they're going, hey, well, how can I help you? And well, and you're not like, man, I'm not even being able to get in to help you, and it's frustrating. And
The parent is really
the parent is
private.
private. I think a lot of this generation of parents are very private, and so it's sometimes hard to help you. And I guess what you're saying is, well,
That's honoring autonomy, maybe.
Yes, and the irony is this, when we come in hot, it makes our parents put up a barrier and makes you, because you're not going to lose your autonomy. So it's like, no, no, no,
or closed-lipped.
yeah, don't come in, don't, no, no, no. And then a lot of times when parents recognize that actually we're going to listen, we're not going to push hard, we're not going to do any of those things that we've made them put their barrier up, then they soften a little. So I've had some people, I had one friend whose mom would only open the door a little crack, like she only, like, you can talk to me right through the door. And I said, what do you do when she does that? And she said, well, I just tell her, Mom, this is unacceptable, blah, 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 blah. I go, dude, that crack is going to get tinier and tinier. I think I know why your mom maybe has such a tiny crack. Like, what if you just go and say, Mom, I'm so sorry. I have been so pushy. And you do your life just as I do my life. We all just have this only one life that we get to live. We don't get to choose what our kids do or what our parents do. And then over time, like once she wasn't threatened anymore, she, opened it up, and then the daughter got to go and sit in her mom's house with her, and because she was no longer afraid that the daughter was going to take over.
Okay, so I was going to a couple minutes ago bring up the doors of the mind analogy, and now you've said a door, an actual door. But I talk about that in Puppy Brain. I talk about it a lot on Instagram. That like if we think, Andrew Hale is the one who I first heard that from. That with a puppy, like for example, if we take a puppy somewhere and we have them in the back of the car in the crate, and we open let's say a hatch, and all the smells come rushing, and the puppy has an instant response. And if we just let them experience it, and we don't force them out of the car, and you're going for a walk, and like if we force them and like, here we go, and you're on my schedule, and we're going to do these things, and we're getting your socialization, and not paying attention to their body language, all the doors of their mind start to shut. And the only door that gets left open is this super instinctual protective response. And you can harden in that stuff into a dog by not allowing them to have agency.
Yes.
And you're saying the same exact thing about our parents. It's the same thing. The doors of the mind probably stay open in the same way, where once they feel safe from us.
Yes. And so when we come in and go, hi, today's the day we're going to the eye doctor. Here, let me grab your arm. Let me get you in the car. It's like, and we're going to be the exact same way. When somebody comes up, like somebody grabs my arm and says, we're getting in the car, I'm going to be like, hell no, I'm not getting in the
Yeah. I've been getting in the car for more years than you.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, but our societal ageism has also impacted that. So like we erroneously think that we know more. And it's really such a shame. And actually the research shows that the problem-solving ability of older adults is even stronger because of the sort of connection between our left and right hemisphere. We can come up with really good problem solving, but because younger people don't allow people to get their full sentence out. And so again, when I can get myself to shut up and ask my mom how to solve a problem, she often comes up with really good solutions that I didn't even think of because I was so quick to act.
Oh my
Wow,
gosh.
this is gold.
Are we over? I feel like, are we real close here? Oh, we have 1 minute. Is that
1 minute.
okay, that is
2
excellent
minutes.
what you just said.
I know.
I don't want to miss saying this on your behalf. I really had a hard time with the concept of self-promotion when Puppy Brain was coming out. And and I didn't understand the impact that it was going to have on people and their dogs. And had I had a little crystal ball that could have shown me, I would have not been hesitant, because I see the impact. And I think your book is exactly the same. This is not about you. This is about a book you've written that, obviously based on everything you shared with us, is going to really help us, not only for ourselves, but also with our parents. And I'll just say to everybody who's watching, pre-orders are huge. And I want to see Kerry's book hit the New York Times bestseller list. Like, I really want to see that. And I believe it has all the ingredients to do that. So I would just say, if you're inclined to order this book, do a pre-order. Don't wait on it, because it will affect the way that it's marketed. It affects everything in the life cycle of a book. And this book really deserves to be front and center. Mel Robbins has already blurbed you. She's given her endorsement. That's just, I know. I mean, that says so much. So at any rate, though, I wanted to say that about the book. And then also, if you want to share where people can find you, that would be great too.
Oh, that means so much coming from you. I adore your book, and really it has changed my life. So I'm just so grateful to you, Kerry. And in terms of finding me, if you wanted to follow on social media, if you do Instagram or Facebook, the_gerontologist, and gerontologist is GERONTOLOGIST. Yes, I had to think about this for a second. And then in terms of pre-ordering the book, that's so true. That pre-orders are everything, and you can pre-order it on Amazon or Barnes and Noble or your local bookstore or Walmart or Target, basically anywhere books are sold. And I would just really deeply appreciate if you would pre-order it, or maybe you would think, oh, this would be nice for a gift, and so you could pre-order a couple. So thank you. And you have inspired me to, I love to promote other people, but it is something that we need to learn about, how to just be bold and ask. And so you're going to start seeing me be more bold.
Yes, I'm going to bug you if you don't. And one more thing on the pre-order. I mean, obviously we want to support our local booksellers. That's a value. But in addition to that, when you go into a bookstore and you ask for a book that they have not decided to carry, that brings the book into the bookstore. So then the people who are ordering see the book. So it just, there's a cycle there that's also very valuable. So pre-order wherever you want, but if you can, walk into your local bookstore and do it there.
It makes me want to go everywhere and walk into every local bookstore and see it.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Man, I wish this conversation could keep going.
Yeah.
But now that we're buddies, we can do this.
I know. Now we can. But this is such great information to get into the world.
Yeah.
So
We're all pulling for Joyspan.
We really are.
Do you have it? Can you hold it up?
What's so funny? They gave me one copy. And so my mom said, can I have it?
Oh.
And I said, okay. And so I said, maybe just for a couple of days. And so yesterday I said, should I, she lives on her own. So I said, can I drive over and maybe pick up Joyspan? And she goes, no, I'm just going to keep, I figure, I've helped you with it. I'm just going to keep it till I finish it. So no, I do not have a copy of it.
I love this. Okay, well, you all can look it up, Dr. Kerry Burnight.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us. It was really just so much fun to talk to you.
You too. Thank you. And I love all your episodes, and I'll be listening to everyone going forward.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks so
Talk to you later.
much.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.
You have to find the off button.
I know. Where's the off? Here we go. We start ding dong ring wrong. I
don't see it. Oh, there it is. Bottom right. End. Okay. Oh no, end webinar.